This is Brett Clay here with Brian Metz. Brian, what company are you with?
I'm from Agile Thought in Tampa, Florida.
Greg, can you tell us a little bit about your role in the company and what the company does?
Sure. I'm the Director of Business Development, and we are a custom software development company predominantly using the Microsoft stack of technologies, and been around about 6 years now.
Great. And tell me a little bit about your role as a BDM.
BDM, that's my initials too, Brian David Metz. So I'm truly a BDM. Actually, it's interesting because I came to the company a couple months ago and don't have a traditional sales background. I come from a software development and IT management position for years.
Interesting.
So, as I meet with business and IT leaders, I'm actually able to kind of relate very closely to what they're trying to do because I was in their seat, several months ago. So as we sit down, we talk about ways to help them accomplish their business goals. It's very easy for me with the IT background. I also have an MBA, so I have some good business knowledge. And it's really good to sit down and talk to them, from a business perspective more than from strictly a pure technology perspective.
Great. Do you have any advice for other people, salespeople, BDMs out there in having those conversations? I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about today's training session about salespeople being transactional and focusing on the implementations and the products rather than elevating the conversation up with the line of business owners and business people to the business objectives. What advice would you have for people looking to decide how to have the conversation with customers?
Well, our company is all about the solution. It's very customized from client to client. We don't have a shrink wrap solution. We don't have a product that necessarily we're selling that fits everybody. So we're sitting down and really trying to understand the company, understand their business, and then work with them to help them develop the solution. It's a very collaborative sort of discussion we have. We don't fly in as consultants and say, oh, we've been there, done this is how you do it. It's sitting down with them, talking to their IT leaders, and helping them formulate a strategy to move forward. The Agile Thought's comprised of a lot of thought leaders. Everybody in the company's not everybody, we have an average of about 16 years of experience. So we're able to sit down and really kind of work with the client and ask the right questions. So I guess the advice would be to sit down as a business development person and really probe and understand what the client's trying to accomplish before you charge in and present a solution you think is going to work.
Right, perfect. So Agile Thought, what a great name, right? Driving agility for clients.
We are, and obviously the name, as the name implies, we use an agile software development methodology.
Okay.
The clients love that. We actually do some consulting around that too. We have some clients that are eager to learn that development methodology, the Scrum methodology a little bit better, so we go in and help them understand how to do that and work and get away from the waterfall and some of the other software development methodologies that just don't seem to be as productive in getting to market and getting quality products and being flexible. As we know, from the time you start a project and you work with the business side and you find out halfway through that requirements are changed, we're in a position to change with them.
So, agility is sort of a buzzword these days. And we talk about how there was the great reboot of 2009 and all of businesses right-sizing and downsizing and morphing. Do you see that agility still is job one today, or is it cost-cutting or revenue growth? Or what do you think is really what your clients are really focused on these days?
I guess the value being able to get software developed, get it out there, get it in the marketplace, high quality, and start getting a return on their investment. The Agile methodology meets all those requirements. And I think that that's what we're seeing from our clients is some of these backlog of projects that when the economy was bad, they started cutting back on their IT spend. They had to let some people go. Well, now as things are starting to pick back up, they're looking around and they're saying, oh, goodness, we have all these things we really need to get done. We don't necessarily have the people to do it, and we don't necessarily have the skill set from the folks that are left here. So it's been a good thing for us to be there with the skills and with that, as you said, that agility. So,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely I see the value of agility. I'm just curious if you're seeing it as well in your client base, that they're really focused on quickly leveraging and exploiting opportunities.
Yes, they are. And like I said, some of them are asking us to teach them and their own group of developers how to adopt that agile methodology and be able to come away with something working very quickly. The agile methodology really suits well to sort of phased releases as well. You know, we get functionality quickly. You start seeing results. You know, in the old world where I came from, you could go away for a year and a half and work on all the documentation and do all these things and still not have anything, you know, a year and a half later. But with Scrum, you know, every 3 weeks we're cranking out some useful, you know, workable sort of.
Excellent, right. So. Right, not doing a one big, massive scope project.
Right.
Breaking into digestible pieces.
Right.
Great. So on the actuation zone, I have a couple of standard questions I ask. So I need to ask you these questions.
Okay.
So first of all, the first question is, what are some changes that you're seeing today in the market or in your customer base?
I guess probably one of the biggest is looking at cloud computing and moving away from having the infrastructure on site or having to go to a co-located facility and managing all the infrastructure. So we're working closely with Microsoft and trying to spread the word about Azure and about cloud computing. That's big, and then also a lot of development around mobile devices. So especially with the new Windows phone that's out, we're getting a lot of clients asking about writing applications for, you know, all the various mobile devices.
Okay, great. And could you also, I'm putting you on the spot here, but could you think of one change that you're executing right now in your company or in your practice?
The biggest thing probably for us at the point we're at now, we're getting away from sort of a just-in-time staffing model, and we're actually adding skill sets and people now that are going to get us ahead of the curve, and we are getting into a little bit of an R&D mode too. So as a young company and a startup where you were pretty much just staffing in response to your clients' needs, we're trying to get a little bit ahead of that game, ahead of that curve. And we are putting a lot of emphasis on training and expertise in the technologies that are coming out, whether it's developing for Azure, you know, as the new SQL versions roll out or the new .NET framework rolls out, we're trying to stay ahead of the game by keeping our staff trained and skilled and being able to react to client requests.
Great. Now, when you're doing these custom app development for clients and helping them take advantage of business opportunities or meet the business objectives, does that involve change in process or organizational structure on behalf of the client?
Well, I mean, we are coming in sometimes and helping them understand how you develop from an agile methodology, and it may change the way they're doing things. A lot of them have read enough and heard enough now about agile software development that they are interested in moving from the traditional waterfall method. So we are taking advantage of that to help bring them up to speed. Certainly the new tools with Microsoft's Team Foundation server and the whole suite of development tools that Microsoft has to offer is causing them to make changes as well.
So what kind of, the last question is, what kind of, what advice would you have for people looking to drive change in their clients?
Get them to read Who Moved My Cheese? Actually, you know, I think it's all around the business. You got to focus on the business perspective. You know, you're not going to come in and get, try to drive a client into using the latest technology if you can't show some value, some business value in it. And we don't try to do that, and we don't do that as an organization. We're not going to jump on the latest and greatest technology if we don't see some business value out of it. So the biggest thing is to sit down and work with clients to help them understand what the way they're doing things today, what it's costing them, and help them understand that if they can make some change, they can realize some either gains in productivity, reduction in cost, improvement in quality, faster time to market,
Right.
all those kind of things by using technology.
Well, that's a great list. I think you hit you hit all of the major points that exist out there in terms of categories of value proposition. Well, great. Well, it's been so great interviewing you and having you in the audience today. I appreciate it, Brian.
Thank you for asking me.
Signing off from Atlanta, Georgia.